Hello and welcome back to the iGP Manager League on Apex Online Racing. I hope you guys are doing great today. We are here for round 15 of this first season. We are in Japan, and in case you missed it last week, we actually have our champion, and it is Peter Mann, who has been leading the championship for quite some time. After picking up another win in Singapore, he is going to be the champion for this first season. My name is Justin Sutton. I'll be taking you through all the action here today from the Japanese race, and again, round 15. Let's have a quick look at the standings, just so that you guys can get caught up on what's going on. As I mentioned, Peter Mann now wins. He has won the championship. There's only 3 races left, only 75 points, and he's got more than a 75-point gap. It is still very close for second position between Nicolas Morales and Cesar Navarro, just 2 points between them, and also very close between the two Spaniards in 4th and 5th position, just 1 point between Carrasco and Cabanes after that solid podium finish last time out for Felix Cabanes in Singapore. He's going to be looking to overhaul his compatriot and take 4th place in the standings. It is also rather close between Daniel Thomas and Chandler Saita, just 4 points between those two. And of course, our newest managers, Richard Joffrit and Valentin Cordier, we could expect those guys are probably going to be doing well as well. So let's take a look at the grid very quickly here, so we can see exactly where people are lining up for today's race. We've got just under a minute and a half to go before we go lights out here in Japan. But it is Nicolas Pressy, the American, on the front row, on pole position, with Richard Joffrit, the French manager, alongside him. Those two on the super softs. Then we have the championship winner, Peter Mann, in 3rd position, leading the soft tire runners. Jose Luis Navarro also starting from super softs. Autosport in 6th position, a solid qualifying result for them, I have to say. They are 3rd of the soft runners, and actually ahead of Jake Thompson on the super softs. And then we have a number of drivers on the mediums, actually. In fact, 6 drivers. Some of them may not be in attendance for today, potentially. So who knows if they're going to be a part of it or not, or if we're going to see them actually being competitive in today's race. But certainly we're not missing 6 people. That would be a bit unprecedented. So we do expect at least some of these guys, Thomas, Cordier, Morales, probably Coleman as well too. They are going to be pushing hard on those mediums. It is a 26-lap race, so they'll need to do 13 laps if they're looking to do a one-stop strategy. So that is how things are looking ahead of the race, and we are about to go racing. Again, it is the American, Nicolas Pressy, who is on pole position as the lights are coming on now, and we prepare to go racing here in Japan. And will we see Jose Luis Navarro making up some positions just right at the beginning of the race today? He hasn't made up any positions just yet. Jake Thompson moving up. Felix Cabanes as well gaining positions. And in fact, Autosport dropping down. Oh no, it was such a good qualifying position in 6th for Autosport, but already losing positions down into 9th position. Not ideal for Autosport at all. I'm sure they're going to be upset about that one. But it is still Nicolas Pressy that leads the way. Joffrit in 2nd. Jose Luis Navarro moving up into 2nd now, actually just overhauled Joffrit for 2nd position as they got into that turn 11 hairpin. But it is Nicolas Pressy that is starting to break away now from the other cars behind him. It is looking very tight at the back. It looks like Coleman, Fazzolari, and Carrasco are the only ones really starting to fall off the back. So Morales and Cordier and Thomas as well doing a great job of keeping up with the soft runners on those medium tires. We do think potentially they could be on for a one-stop strategy here. So we'll be keeping an eye on those guys as Franco Incerralde becomes the latest person to make an overtake on Autosport. And Autosport are now last of the soft runners. And Jake Thompson really hasn't made up any sort of positions on those super softs. I have to say I'm surprised about that one. But Felix Cabanes dropping down pretty significantly after moving up some places at the start of this race. Now down into 8th position. It's not been a great opening lap for Felix Cabanes after what was a very good start, actually. Jake Thompson moving ahead of him. The super soft runner now up into 7th position. Peter Mann holding station as the leading soft runner with Cesar Navarro, his one-time companion in the championship standings, his biggest competitor as well too, as now Autosport making some moves, gets past Franco Incerralde up into 9th position. And of course they are going to be looking for a solid points finish here, our Autosport, after the scenes that we saw in Singapore, pitting on the very last lap from a points-paying position. They were in 9th in Singapore, but unfortunately a miscalculation with the fuel meant they were into the pits at the end of of the penultimate lap, and unfortunately that dropped them well outside of the points. Nicholas Pressey continues to Pressey that advantage up at the front. Now a 2-second gap down to Jose Luis Navarro. Richard Joffre keeping close, very, very close, in fact. And Peter Mann as well, very close to the back of Joffre. Really not much gap between those. So Peter Mann doing very well on these soft compound tires. Autosport losing that position once again to Franco Inceralde. Lap 3, so DRS has been activated, which we will see at the very end of this lap. We'll see people using the DRS. But Boost, of course, is already active as we see Chandler Saita coming under attack from Jake Thompson. He's deployed a bit of boost to move ahead of the American, and the Brit is up into 6th position on those super soft tires. Just 2 soft runners ahead of Jake Thompson still to go. He is, of course, looking for his 2nd points finish of this season, so he would be very happy to finish in this current position. And there's Franco Inceralde deploying lots and lots of boost to move ahead of Felix Cabanes, and also Chandler Saita moves himself up into 7th position. He's going to continue deploying boost until he's just about squeezed past Jake Thompson. Almost no boost remaining, actually, for the Argentinian as they pick up the DRS coming on to the start-finish straight now, and he's going to hold on to the rest, what little of that boost he has still remaining, and it is not very much. Peter Mann now makes the overtake on Richard Joffre, so the soft-shod red car of Peter Mann moves up into 3rd position ahead of the super soft runner of Richard Joffre, our newest manager in this league. And he's looking very strong for another win to add to his tally. So what other movement do we have going on at the moment? Autosport still holding on to that final points paying position, but they are last of the soft runners, and those medium runners are very close behind. Thomas, Morales, and Cordier all running very, very close to the back of Autosport. And if Autosport's not careful here, they might actually lose the DRS off the back of Felix Cabanes, so they might be deploying a bit of boost potentially coming out of this double left-hander in order to close the gap to Cabanes. It is now 0.8 as they finish sector 2 of this lap, so they are within DRS range. Possibly Cabanes getting held up a little bit. We do see some boost usage from Cesar Navarro. Jose Luis Navarro in 2nd position. Is he going to come under attack from the DRS of Peter Mann? And it looks like Peter Mann not even going to need to use some boost there just with the DRS, and it is enough to move him up into 2nd position. Fantastic race so far for Peter Mann. It's looking great for Nicholas Pressey as well. He could have a lot lower fuel compared to the rest of the cars on the track at the moment, though. So we'll keep an eye on that and see when he comes in. But potentially, based on his lap times, we could see Nicholas Pressey as one of the first, if not the first, cars into the pits. Again, there's only 4 guys on the Super Softs. It is Pressey, Jose Navarro, Richard Joffre, and Jake Thompson. Oh, there's some more boost usage for Cesar Navarro. That's going to see the Argentinian move ahead of the Frenchman of Richard Joffre and slots in just behind his older brother. So the 2 Navarro brothers in 3rd and 4th position, just narrowly ahead of Richard Joffre. A bit of a gap now starting to form between 5th and 6th position. It seems that Jake Thompson losing a bit of pace. And are we going to see any cars come into the pits? They're just making their way into the final chicane now, the leading cars. And indeed, Nicholas Pressey does come into the pits at the end of lap 5. So that is a pretty early stop. We do see Jose Luis Navarro follow him into the pits as well. So the Argentinian following the American, both of those guys into the pits. And it is going to be a set of mediums for Jose Luis Navarro, a set of soft tires for Nicholas Pressey. So it does look like they are going to be going for alternate strategies. That's an interesting choice. Nicholas Coleman, who I think is not attending based on his lap times that we've been seeing, does not get ahead of Nicholas Pressey. So Pressey's going to be happy about that, since he's not going to have to make that overtake. But let's look a little bit further down the field, and it is very, very tight for what is now 4th position, what is a net 6th position. Felix Cabanes now becomes the next to deploy some boost, makes the overtake on Franco Inceralde, and as well, another overtake as well on Jake Thompson. So it's a double overtake for Felix Cabanes here on lap 6, coming to the end of this lap pretty soon here. And again, just a very, very close fight for this net 6th place position as Richard Joffre now deploying a bit of boost, trying to close up to the back of Cesar Navarro. Is he going to try the overtake into turn 1? He picks up the DRS off of the Argentinian, and that is a pit stop for Jake Thompson now. He becomes the next car into the pits to get rid of those super soft tires. It does not look like Richard Joffre was going to be able to make the overtake on Cesar Navarro, and it is a set of soft compound tires for Jake Thompson at the end of lap 6, possibly going 10 laps on this set, and then he'll do another 10-lap stint on another set of soft compound tires to finish out the race, and he is going to just about stay ahead of Fazzolari, who is not attending today. Jose Luis Navarro starting to close up to the back of Nicholas Coleman. That should be a relatively easy overtake for him. Nicholas Pressey on the soft compound tires has a sizable gap of 8.6 seconds ahead to the cars that have yet to come into the pits so far in this race. And it is, very, very close between Insaurralde and Saita. Again, still very close here. It seems that Cabanes has pulled away a little bit in what is now currently fourth position. In fact, getting within DRS range of Richard Joffrett as they pass the Sector 2 timing. And, look at this. Autosport getting very, very close to the back of Franco Insaurralde. They haven't deployed any boost at all. Remember, Insaurralde deploying tons and tons of boost at the start of this race. Autosport is going to lose a position to Daniel Thomas, but they are going to pick up the DRS off of Thomas, Insaurralde, Saita, the only one in this group not picking up DRS. Nicholas Morales, who is a contender for second position in the championship. He's just about picking up the DRS on those medium compound tires. Valentin Cordier, though, unfortunately started dropping off of this group. About a 2.2 second gap between himself and the Argentinian Morales up ahead. But look at this. It is so close in this fight from Saita down to Morales as Autosport goes side by side with Franco Insaurralde, and they get the move done, moving ahead up into sixth position. That is a net, should be a net P10, I believe, for Autosport, but we'll have to see after all of these pit stops have shaken out and everything. You can see Peter Mann just making his way out of the double left-handers there. Sizable gap for him, 2.1 seconds to Cesar Navarro, who has deployed a pretty sizable amount of boost. Nearly 50% of his boost gone. Felix Cabanes as well, deploying a similar amount of boost compared to Cesar Navarro up ahead. Daniel Thomas looking like he's got just about enough of a gap to keep Chandler Saita behind as they get into the DRS zone. We'll find out now. DRS open for the American Chandler Saita. Will he be able to mount an attack on the Swissman, Daniel Thomas, into turn one? Nope, he's going to be a couple of car lengths back, actually. So no overtakes from that group of cars at the moment. Nicholas Morales, though, really looking like he wants to make the overtake on Insaurralde, and he does it into the S section. Moves himself up into what is now seventh position. Insaurralde dropping down into eighth. Still very close, though, between all of these guys. So I expect this sort of battling to continue for the vast majority of the race. Are we going to see Valentin Cordier begin to start to catch up with these guys? Again, remember, he is on the medium tires, so those will start to come good as the race continues to tick down. We are coming to the end of lap 9 now. I think this is a pretty... This is about when the pit stop window is going to open for those guys that started on the soft compound tires. I don't know if we'll actually see anybody come in this lap, but I think very likely we'll see some people come in next lap at the very least. Peter Mann continues on. Cesar Navarro continues on. Felix Cabanes peels off into the pits. He's followed by Daniel Thomas. Now that's surprising considering Thomas is on the medium tires. Oh, they're also followed by Autosport, Morales, and Insaurralde. So 5 cars into the pits at the end of lap 9. So if they're pitting on lap 9, they could be doing a 9-9-8 strategy. 9 laps on the softs, 9 laps on the softs, 8 laps on the softs. And Richard Joffrett just about overhauls Daniel Thomas very close at the pit exit, but I have to say it's looking great for Autosport at this point. After going into the pits, they're currently sitting in P9, and I think that's about where they are. I think that's about a net P9, because I think Peter Mann, Cesar Navarro, Chandler Saita, those guys are going to come out ahead of Autosport. Valentin Cordier is only 1 stopping, so that's going to be a bit of a difficult one to try and predict, but still very, very close. It looks like a few cars getting caught up behind Nicholas Coleman, who, again, we believe is probably not attending today's race. Of course, managers can't make every single race, so that's not a problem when they can't be here. At least the AI can take over for them and try to get them some points if they can. Not very likely, though, given how competitive this league is. So Coleman's AI deploying a bit of boost there, just doing his best to try and keep ahead of Insaurralde, who actually made the overtake on Nicholas Morales. It looks like Jose Luis Navarro on the mediums wants to try and get by his compatriot as well. It's very, very close between the two of them. Saita is the next car into the pits. He's going to come out on a set of softs, and actually he's going to come out behind that group. That's very surprising. So that's actually going to promote Autosport up into 7th position. And when Cordier pits, that would become 6th position. I have to say it's looking very good for Autosport at this stage. They haven't really used all that much boost. You can see they still have about 80% remaining thereabouts for that red car team. Currently running behind Richard Joffrett, who has used a lot of boost. Let's go ahead and just remind ourselves of the tires that everyone started on, what their current stint is. So Valentin Cordier, the only guy out there that is still on his first set of tires. You can see him just going there on the straight at the bottom of the screen. It looks like a number of cars deploying some boost here, though. Nicholas Pressey trying to close up to the back of our championship winner, Peter Mann, who won the championship last time out in Singapore. Some more boost usage as well for Cesar Navarro. Let's see if he's going to try and attack here on Nicholas Pressey. I have a feeling he was just deploying boost there in an effort to try and pick up the DRS off of Pressey. Pressey's not going to be able to make the overtake on Peter Mann, possibly just using him to increase his speed. Picking up that DRS, just give him that little bit more breathing room down to the cars behind. But again, Cesar Navarro with that boost usage is going to close right back up. Very similar boost levels, actually, between Pressey and Navarro. Peter Mann hasn't even touched his boost bar yet. So clearly his car working very well, going as fast as the other guys, even without using any sort of boost. Of course, at their level, the boost isn't ultra effective. As you level up in the game, the boost does become more and more effective as Autosport loses a position now to Daniel Thomas, who is again on those medium tires. Started the race on the medium tires, came in rather early, I have to say, and it is the end of lap 12, so we don't expect Valentin Cordier is going to be coming into the pits this lap. He's probably going to extend that to lap 13, but let's just go on board with the French manager and just make sure, yep, he does indeed stay out. We expect him to come in this lap now at the end of lap 13 for a double stint on the mediums to finish off the race. And Nicholas Pressey now coming under threat from Cesar Navarro. A bit of boost usage for the Argentinian does see him move ahead of the American up into second position. His nearest rival, Nicolas Morales, way down and outside of the points at the moment in 12th. Unfortunately, just not working that well for him. But look at this absolute train of cars we have going on here for 6th position. Joffre, Autosport now moving ahead of Daniel Thomas. Very nice for them. Joffre, Autosport, Thomas, Saita, Thompson, and Inceralde. All of these guys running in very, very close formation. There's some boost usage there. I'm not sure if that was Jake Thompson. I believe it was Jake Thompson actually moving ahead of Chandler Saita. Thomas and Autosport doing some battling, and that's actually allowed Thompson to make the overtake. So Jake Thompson now up into 7th position. No boost remaining for the Brit, though. So he is going to struggle towards the end of the race. Valentin Cordier is into the pits to finally get rid of that set of medium compound tires that he started the race on. Let's see if he is going to go into another mediums, as we do expect him to. He should be just about finding his pit boxes right at the end, probably because he was a late entry in this season. So his pit box right at the end, and there is that train, that DRS train of cars. He's going to sneak out behind Nicolas Morales, just ahead of Jose Luis Navarro, but with no more pit stops still to make. We do believe that the vast majority, in fact, possibly everybody in this race is going to be doing one more stop. The only people that might not be are the likes of Morales, for example. That might explain why he's so much slower than the cars ahead of him. And also Jose Luis Navarro, he could potentially be going to the end of the race on this set of mediums as well. But let's turn our focus once again back towards this midfield battle from 5th down to 10th as they start to pull away, actually, from Nicolas Morales. It is still pretty close up at the front. Cesar Navarro holding on to about a 1.3 second gap to Peter Mann. Very similar sort of gap down to the American of Nicholas Pressey. So sort of equidistant between all three of them as they come to the end of lap 14. Past halfway point, of course, in this race. And actually, Nicholas Pressey is peeling off into the pits. So he did a 5-lap stint on the super softs, a 9-lap stint on the softs. Coming in at the end of lap 14, is he going to go into a set of the mediums? He is indeed. Now, this is a strategy that we've seen has been successful throughout the course of this first Apex Online Racing IGP Manager League. And that is going on to the super softs, the softs, and the mediums, actually utilizing 3 different tire compounds in the race. So Nicholas Pressey, will keep an eye on him. He is the first, though, to make that second pit stop. Peter Mann now extending his lead down to Cesar Navarro, and of course they don't have Pressey pressuring them anymore. Felix Cabanes sort of running his own race. He's got a huge gap up ahead to the leading duo, and then a big gap down to the guys behind him who are all busy fighting each other as well. So I have to say it's looking good for Felix Cabanes. He's been very reliably in the top 5 all throughout this season, and it looks like he's going to continue that trend here today in Spain as Autosport really closing up. No boost usage, actually. They make the overtake organically. No DRS, no boost usage at all. Autosport possibly just pushing on a high push level there to make that overtake on Jake Thompson. Impressive stuff. They did pick up the DRS off of Daniel Thomas as well. Thomas now picking up the DRS on Joffre. Is he going to be side by side? No, not quite. Joffre's just about managing to stay ahead. Of course, Daniel Thomas will be able to push harder with these harder compound tires and through the S section. I think he's going to do it, don't you know? Oh, no. Joffre manages to hold on to that 4th place position. It's very, very close between these two guys, though, for that 4th place. And Autosport, again, I have to say, doing a fantastic job. I'm just really hoping that they don't make any sort of mistakes when it comes to putting fuel in their car, because nobody wants to see them make that mistake once again. Chandler Saita now makes an overtake on Franco Inceralde. I assume we're going to be continuing to see multiple overtakes in this midfield battle. And this is probably what we're going to be focused on for the vast majority of the race, because when you have racing that's this close, it's hard to look away from it, as Inceralde does retake that position on Chandler Saita down the straight. So seemingly Saita possibly just quicker in the corners, and Inceralde just a bit quicker on the straights, as Jake Thompson actually peels out of this battle. He's going to come into the pits at the end of lap 16. I would imagine that is for a set of soft compound tires, and indeed he is no longer stationary in the pit lane, and it is indeed another set of softs for the Brit. So he's doing a super soft strategy. It's a very aggressive strategy with the tires, actually. Autosport closing up to the back of Richard Joffre. Some boost usage now for Nicolas Morales. He's caught back up to this group. He's got Valentin Cordier about 3 seconds adrift. And actually, it looks like Morales is going to make the overtake here on Chandler Saita. They're very close at the exit of that turn 11 hairpin. And I think he's just about going to get him. No! Chandler Saita, through the high-speed right-hander, does manage to hold on to that 9th place position ahead of Nicolas Morales. He is, of course, on softer tires, but those tires are 9 laps old, almost 10 laps old at this point. So they are definitely going to be falling off pretty quickly here. Are we going to see any cars come into the pits? None of the leaders are into the pits. Daniel Thomas stays out, but Richard Joffre is into the pits. He's going to get rid of that set of soft compound tires. He also went from super softs onto softs. Will we see him go into another set of softs at the end of lap 17? This would be a 9-lap stint on the soft compound tires. It is indeed another set of softs. Same for Jose Luis Navarro. So I'd speculated earlier that it might be a one-stop strategy for Jose Luis Navarro, but unfortunately for him, it seems that is not the case. So he's going to come out in 13th position after making his second stop, well behind Jake Thompson, Joffre, Pressey, all of these guys that have already been to the pits for their second stop. So the second pit stop window is firmly open at this point for those guys that are doing a 998 strategy. This is the lap that you want to pit on. Peter Mann is just making his way into the final chicane now. Will we see our champion pull off into the pits? Nope. It looks like he is going to stay out. Will Cesar Navarro come into the pits? No, he's going to stay out as well. And Felix Cabanes, who we think is a net fourth due to Nicholas Pressey, he is going to come into the pits, though. He's actually followed by Daniel Thomas and Autosport and Inceralde and Nicolas Morales. So another 5 cars into the pits at the end of lap 18. So these guys are going to need to do an 8-lap stint on these tires that they're going onto now. And actually, it is a set of mediums for Morales. So it's softs all around for absolutely everybody, except for Morales, who has opted for the mediums and unfortunately come out of the pits just behind Jake Thompson. Now, Jake has no boost remaining. Nicolas Morales still has about 30 to 35%, thereabouts, I would say. So Nicolas Morales definitely with an opportunity here to try to gain some positions later in the race, especially in the late stages of this race as the soft tires start to fall off. But the softs should easily be able to do an 8-lap stint, especially at the end of the race here. So I don't expect they're going to have too many problems. Autosport maintaining that position ahead of Richard Joffre. Joffre with just under 50% boost still remaining. Autosport, though, about 60% boost still remaining, more than Daniel Thomas up ahead. Thomas is on harder compound tires as well, so this might be the time for them to attack Daniel Thomas, as Peter Mann is coming out of the pits now at the end of lap 19. So it's going to be a very short stint, just 7 laps to finish up this race for Peter Mann. Chandler Saita, who is yet to come into the pits for a second time, he inherits second position. Cordier is now into third position, which will become second once Saita comes into the pits. And we do believe that Chandler Saita is going to be coming in for a second stop at some point, but Cordier coming out just ahead of Cesar Navarro, the contender for second in the championship standings. But Valentin Cordier, with literally all of his boost bars still remaining, I think is looking very good for a second place finish here in Japan for the 15th round of the Apex Online Racing IGP Manager League. So looking very good for Valentin Cordier. I don't think Cesar Navarro is going to be able to do anything about that. Yeah, I mean, the softs are going to be quicker, but again, that boost deficit that Cesar Navarro has to contend with the French manager up ahead of him, that's going to be very difficult. Lap 20, end of lap 20, and Chandler Saita is peeling into the pits. Just saw the radio message from him saying that he was going to be coming in, and he does indeed come in at the end of lap 20, and it is a set of super softs for the American. So another very aggressive strategy that we're seeing here in Japan. fan. He's running soft, soft, super soft. And where is he going to feed out? It looks like he's going to come out behind Inceralde. Yep, Inceralde just about stays ahead. Here comes Jake Thompson. Saita with lots of boosts still remaining. So I think he's going to be safe even if Thompson makes the overtake. So that's the final points paying position for Chandler Saita. But he is on a set of super soft tires. He's only got to do 6 laps on those. And we did see Pressy do 5 laps. Joffrey did 7 laps on his set of super soft, so 6 laps should be fairly doable for the American. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on him to see where he can finish in today's race. It is still very close for 6th position, though. Autosport, it's very, very close between them and Daniel Thomas as far as getting within DRS range. Is Cesar Navarro going to be able to make the overtake on Valentin Cordier here? Let's find out. We'll move back over to that midfield battle after we've seen these two go through the DRS zone. And there is the boost usage from Valentin Cordier. And Cesar Navarro does pick up the DRS. And this is actually proving to be somewhat useful for Cesar Navarro. He was never really going to make that overtake on Valentin Cordier, not with that much boost difference. However, Cordier allowing Navarro to get that boost is keeping him well ahead of Felix Cabanes. So whether or not Cabanes would have been a threat to Navarro towards the end of this race is purely hypothetical. We can only speculate as to whether or not Cabanes would have been a real threat for that final podium position. However, Cordier definitely, I would say, is helping Navarro by only using boost just before the DRS activation zone, because that's giving that DRS to Cesar Navarro, just increasing his, or decreasing rather, his lap times, increasing his lap speed, and just allowing him to feel that little bit safer from the Spaniard Felix Cabanes, who does deploy the last of his boost, actually coming out of that double left-hander in Sector 3. So Cabanes uses everything, absolutely everything, to try and close up to Cesar Navarro. Let's actually stay on board with these guys so we can get a new gap between them. Looks like Cordier not deploying any boost. 3 seconds now between Navarro and Cabanes. And actually Cordier, if he did deploy any boost, I didn't actually see it. Oh, sneaky from Cesar Navarro coming out of the first couple of corners, sneaks ahead of Valentin Cordier, but Cordier says, no, sir, you're not having that. But actually, here comes Cesar Navarro again without the boost usage. Valentin Cordier, I think he's going to regret this. He probably should have used all of his boost in one shot, pull away from Navarro, get out of the DRS range, but unfortunately, he doesn't really have much boost remaining. Cesar Navarro doing a fantastic job on the soft compound tires to stay ahead of the French manager, and it looks like Cordier is going to hold back, possibly wait for the DRS, and then deploy the DRS and the boost in conjunction with one another to make one final overtake on the Argentinian as we come to the end of lap 23. Just 3 laps remaining in this Japanese race, and it is very, very close for second position. I do apologize to the midfield guys. I know it is very close between them as well, but this is the battle I want to watch at the moment. There's the DRS. Oh no, the backmarker Carrasco gives DRS to Cesar Navarro. That's going to help him even more in his quest to stay ahead of Valentin Cordier. Meanwhile, Chandler Saita makes the overtake on Richard Joffrey, possibly with a bit of boost and some DRS as well, but Joffrey picking up the DRS off of Autosport, so possibly some boost usage there from the American on the super soft tires up into 8th position, so that's already 2 positions gained for Chandler Saita in today's, in this final stint, I should say, on the super soft tires, so we'll continue to monitor that, see if he can make up any more positions. Valentin Cordier is in real danger here of actually falling out of the DRS range. It's 0.9 seconds. Last time we got the split, and it's actually 1.3 seconds, so Valentin Cordier has definitely lost out on this second place position. I think Cesar Navarro looking very, very quick on these soft compound tires, built that gap up to over 1 second between himself and Cordier. Cabanes now starting to close up. That was a 3.3 second gap previously, then it went down to 3 seconds, now it's down to 2.7 seconds, so it seems the Spaniard starting to catch up to the French manager. It's only 2.3 seconds now, so it's another 0.4 of a second taken out by Felix Cabanes on Valentin Cordier in Sector 3 as we start the penultimate lap of this race. Let's look at Autosport. Oh, they're definitely coming under a lot of threat from Chandler Saita now. Saita has used all of his boost. Autosport still has a tiny little sliver still to play with. Daniel Thomas actually has a lot of boost still to go, so it looks like he's going to be easily holding on to that 6th place position. I said the same thing about Cordier in his 2nd place position though, so we'll have to see if anything's going to happen there. If anybody overtakes Thomas, I have to say it's probably going to be Chandler Saita, right? I don't know if you guys agree with that one, but I think Chandler Saita is probably the most likely person to take that 6th place off of Daniel Thomas. However, even if Autosport loses the spot to Saita, they are looking pretty safe from Joffrey and Inceralde. And even if Joffrey and Inceralde overtake them, they are going to be on for a points scoring finish here in Japan. It's been 15 races we've been waiting for to say that about Autosport, but it looks like finally they are going to pick up some championship points here as we start the final lap of this race. DRS for Autosport in 7th position. It looks like Cordier really falling off the back of Cesar Navarro. Felix Cabanes now starting to become a real threat to Valentin Cordier. No DRS zones remaining in this race. The white flag is out. The checkered flag is coming out very, very soon here. And now Nicholas Pressy. Oh, Pressy is dropping like an absolute stone. I'm not sure if that's a fuel issue. He may have possibly run out of fuel. But he is going very, very slowly. The American is going to drop out of the points. That's actually going to promote Autosport up into a 6th place position. They're not going to be able to do anything about Daniel Thomas up ahead. Again, lots of boosts still remaining for Daniel Thomas, the Swiss manager. It looks like he's on for a top 5 finish today, which would be a great result for him. But Autosport in 6th and actually pulling away from Chandler Saita. So it looks like they're on for a 6th place finish. Let's go on board with Peter Mann. He's actually already finished. Cesar Navarro is going to cross the line in 2nd position. Valentin Cordier is just about going to hold on to 3rd ahead of Felix Cabanes, who picks up another top 5 finish. Daniel Thomas is going to pick up 10 championship points, and Autosport is in 6th position. Give it up for Autosport, everybody. Unbelievable. They picked up 8 championship points. 8. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that for Autosport. It's been such a difficult season for them. It's just been uphill the entire way. Unbelievable how difficult it's been. These competitors that they're going up against, these guys are very, very good. And for Autosport to finish in 6th position, that is absolutely incredible. Hats off to Autosport. You guys did it. You guys did it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Chandler Saita in the end on that alternate strategy, going on to the Super Softs right at the end of the race. It was not good enough to get any further than 7th position. Still a solid result, though, for Chandler Saita. It's going to be very, very close, actually, between Saita and Thomas. They may even be level on points after this race. We're going to take a look, of course, at the championship standings in just a moment here. Just waiting for the results to come through. There we go. It looks like they have completed now. So let's take a quick look, and just what an amazing race that was. We've had some incredible races towards the end of this season. Singapore was arguably possibly the best race we'd seen all year long, and this one was honestly just as good. Really impressive stuff. Let's have a quick look now, if we can, at the championship standing. So here is how things are looking after the 15th round out of 17 in the first season of the Apex Online Racing IGP Manager League. Peter Mann, of course, extending his lead up at the top. Nicholas Morales did very difficult and poor race for him today. That is going to allow Cesar Navarro to move well ahead. Now 15 points ahead of Nicholas Morales, so that's pretty sizable. Cabanes does move ahead of Carrasco now after Carrasco was not present for today's race. That's now an 11-point gap with Felix Cabanes taking 4th in the championship. And I was right. Chandler Saita and Daniel Thomas are now level on points, exactly even with 104. Chandler Saita, though, with a race win, which is why he's still classified as 6th, and Daniel Thomas is only 7th, because, of course, Chandler Saita picking up that race win. So on countback, he is leading the way. But with only 2 races remaining, every point is going to be absolutely crucial between those two for 6th and 7th in the championship. Valentin Cordier still in 8th position, now with 90 points. Nicholas Pressy in 9th with 59 points. Jose Luis Navarro not scoring today, nor did Fazzolari or Coleman. Inceralde, though, picking up some points, moves him up to 32 points as his total. Richard Joffrey scores yet again, now sitting on 12 points. And this is really what we want to look at down here in 15th position. Autosport no longer last again. So they were last, then they were 15th, then they were last again when Jake Thompson scored. But Autosport with that incredible finish, unbelievable 6th place for Autosport. Unfortunately for them, I think they're just getting the hang of IGP Manager right as the season is ending. So that goes to show you, though, the amount of skill and preparation and strategy that goes into IGP Manager. It is not easy to be successful when the grid is this competitive. So again, hats off to Autosport. You guys did it. thank you everybody for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating this race, just like in Singapore. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this one. Let's have a quick peek, actually. The next race is going to be Brazil for the penultimate round of this season. We just got 2 races to go, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So there's 2 more opportunities for Autosport to try and pick up some more points. And in fact, they're only 4 points behind Richard Joffret. Now, Joffret has been doing very well, so that's a tall order. But you know, they're within striking distance. They only need to average 2 points more than Joffret per race for the final 2 races, and that 14th place in the championship belongs to Autosport. So will we see Autosport move up even further? Find out next time for the Brazilian round of this first season of Apex Online Racing iGP Manager. If you haven't tried out iGP Manager, it's free to play. You can play it on your mobile devices, your tablets, your phones, your computer, and your browser as well. You can play it absolutely anywhere, and it's completely free to try, so make sure you guys check it out. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you in 1 week's time for the race in Brazil. Bye-bye.